podcast, but maybe we'll get into your story a little bit, just for those that actually aren't aware. We'd love to probably hear. I mean, we'll come back to footy. We want to hear about footy. I'm really interested to hear how you even came to Australia, and never even hearing of our game, and then playing it at the highest level. But maybe starting, around that time. I mean, and what we're probably talking about here is some of your struggles with mental health and what you went through. If you're open to sharing, we'd love to hear it.
Oh, of course, man. I'm an open book, right? Born in Sudan, in Khartoum. 1991, 35 years old now. Pretty old. But yeah, look, man, you know what I mean? Like life back in Sudan, right? So my mum and dad, right? They were born in South Sudan, and when the war broke out, the civil war between North Sudan and South Sudan, they walked, they walked from South Sudan to Sudan, and it's a long journey, right? And then eventually, so my dad got pulled. He's the first educated individual out of his whole family. He's one of 13 or something like that. A lot of kids. So yeah, born in Khartoum. They call me Mankwer. Mankwer means in my language. I'm Dinka. That's my tribe. Mankwer means the man of the street. I'm not a street man, but like she gave birth to me outside a hospital, so that's why they call him Mankwer, means street.
Oh, on the street,
yeah, on the street. And then from there onwards, obviously, like my dad had an education background. He was a principal of my school. My mum worked at the school as well. And then the reason why we had to come to Australia, or like you know what I mean? Like find better opportunities in life. So dad was heavily involved in the church. My family was heavily involved in the church, and he was rescuing child soldiers. And I've told some of my teammates about this, and they really didn't believe it because they thought it was something out of a movie, like Coney or Seven, remember? Something like that, yeah. Yeah, and I've come around to really embrace, what we've been through. And then obviously I lived in Egypt for 3 years. We're trying to obtain a migrant visa. Give it up to this guy, man. Like literally, man. Like it's just like you meet some great people in life. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful for his presence to be there around that time. So it was a priest from France, and my dad, you know what I mean? I don't know what prompted him, but he asked him he told him about our situation. They raised so much funds because I got a big family, something like 40,000 American dollars to book the flight and like come here and literally start our own journey. And that happened. Came here. Didn't speak a word of English.
That's crazy to me. I was literally thinking as you were speaking, I was like, I wonder if he actually learnt part English back home because he speaks so well.
I never did. Read a lot of books, man. Like, my dad used to make us read so much. I hated it, but like I'm grateful for it now. But I went to an English language school center when we first came here. First time I saw a McDonald's.
Would have been a beautiful sight.
Yeah. Anyways, came here. What is it? 26th of January. 2003, Australia Day for most individuals. They would like to celebrate it. But came here. Man, it was so chaotic. Yeah. Because I finished grade 6 at such a young age. I was like, 9 years old when I finished school. Because there was no one at home at that time, yeah? Everyone's at school. All my siblings, they were all at school. And so there was no one there to look after me. So I repeated a few grades and stuff. And then, look, man, when we first came here, there was not too many people that looked like me at all, even at school, yeah? So I'd be there with my brother all the time. And then that's how footy came along, really. That's how it came along. You know what I mean?
What's your first memory, footy-wise?
Markers up.
Yeah.
Were you a tall kid?
Not really. I was just in the middle. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just in the middle. I had a spurt around year 9 onwards. Year 9, year 10. That's when I grew.
Really?
And then I could finally wrestle my older brother.
Yeah.
And I could beat him. So that was pretty interesting. And then the most interesting part, it was really convincing my parents to allow me to play footy. And they're just like, "Are you crazy?" And I was like, "I want to play footy." Yeah. All of a sudden, I've got new friends. You know what I mean? I don't look too different to too many people. And that's what footy does, you know what I mean? It really galvanizes people and like brings people together. And my mum and dad, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, your accent is changing.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you expect? I'm at a footy club.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, get drafted to the Kangas. I'm so grateful for North Melbourne. It's been an unbelievable kind of journey, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because when I first came there, I guess there's this facility. It's called the Huddle, and it's essentially it is designed for the area of North Melbourne, Flemington, Oscar Vale, stuff like that. Homework club. It's got nothing to do with footy. And it's amazing, you know, what Eugene Rocca, you know, at the time, Andrew Demetrio, individuals like Sonia Hood, you know, what they've been able to do for that facility. You know, it's just like, you know, some of their pillars are, you know, they want people to belong. Mm-hmm. I don't think belonging is such an important thing as an individual. You want to belong to some type of community, you know what I mean? You know, just as an example, you know, you go to a swimming club, you belong in that place, don't you? Play at a footy club, you feel like you belong. There's so many aspects to it, and it's been incredible, and it's such a wonderful thing for the footy club to be able to do long-lasting legacy type of stuff.
The word belonging, I resonate with that heavily, especially with the footy club, whether it's local footy or being a spectator, even like being a supporter of a team. You know, for a lot of people going to the AFL every week, that's like their connection. You know,
of course, you know what I mean. Like it took me such a long time, and it's just like, you know what I mean. Like just for example, like the North Melbourne Football Club, right? Yeah, look, we have not won a lot of games over the over the last period.
Yes.
You know
you were part of some successful teams,
yeah. But like if your team wins on a weekend, man, like you got to work on Monday. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're walking a bit taller, aren't you?
Yeah.
So like belonging and being part of a community and having an identity. And there's one thing, right? Yeah, like I spend a lot of time with my psychiatrist. We'll delve into the mental health stuff. Look, man, one of the biggest killers in life, I could not believe it when I heard it from him, is loneliness. Yeah. A lot of people are lonely in the world, man. And it's just like, if you feel like you've got a community or somewhere you belong to, guess what? You're not lonely, are you?
With like, because I mean, you've briefly touched over your story leaving Sudan and then Egypt and then over to Australia, and footy clubs, like everything you've said resonated. We've both grown up in footy clubs our whole life, but when you get to like into the AFL system and you're trying to share your story or explaining your background compared to a lot of other teammates or guys in the system too, how do they kind of embrace that? Because it's a totally different way of life for how we probably grew up and how I assume a lot of them would have been drafted probably through a private school system here and you know that sort of thing. So yeah, what's it like?
I mean, the most fascinating thing is like I had no idea, right? Like a lot of my teammates have never interacted with an African individual before.
Yeah.
And that's not to say to judge them or anything like that. Most football players come from private school sectors. I went to a private school as well. McKillop College, shout out.
Which college did you say?
McKillop College.
McKillop, yep.
Yeah. And then when I first came in, and you know what I mean, there was some teething issues. Yeah, there were. Yeah. And what my coach told me, Brad Scott, he said to me, like, why don't you just teach them about your culture? See how that goes. Talk about my culture, you know. And the reality is, we didn't have that too. We weren't that too dissimilar. You know what I mean? There was some boys and single parents and all this stuff, and we shared a lot of experiences growing up. It was like, oh, you're like that too? Yeah, me too.
Which is incredible, Madge, but at the same time, like, you've experienced war.
Yeah, I have.
Like, that's something I don't think any of us can really comprehend. Like, especially civil war. Like,
Yeah,
it
look,
must have
mate,
been.
I was really shielded at such a young age. I remember one time, not too sure if I've mentioned this before. My uncle, call him Grandpa, my dad's uncle, he had a bit of time off. So he was a commander in the military, and he came home and he was like, Sudan is hot, man. Yeah. The next road over where we used to live is a road to Libya.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And it was a hot night, man. Like, I'm just obviously like, there's no electricity or anything like that. It's like oil lamps and stuff like that. And then in the middle of the night, we were just literally sleeping in the backyard. Yeah, everyone's bed's there in the backyard because it was too hot. And literally an hour later, we hear. I could not know. It's something you have to experience for the first time. Yeah, missiles. From the Red Sea. This is when Osama bin Laden was operating in Sudan with the terrorists. Oh my God, man! It was that loud. You can see it in the middle of the night.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
How old
crazy.
are you?
I was probably been like maybe 7 or something.
That's insane.
I was sitting there. I was like,
Can you comprehend what's going on? Or not really? Yeah.
No. I told they obviously, like, you know what I mean. They turn on the BBC radio, and then obviously it confirmed it. Yeah, missiles going through the night. Bombing the site where Osama bin Laden was operating with their Al Qaeda, and I go to my grandpa. What the hell is going on? He's like, the next morning he had to go. You know what I mean? Go back. He was only there for like 2 days. He had to go and, like, you know what I mean, command the army or whatever. So I guess with war and stuff, you know, it's quite prevalent, isn't it, at the moment? And man. You just got to be grateful, don't you?